film or series lit your fuse and made you have to tell stories on screen?
It wasn't until I saw something done in Mexico in my language, I think one important film for me, it was Alfonso Cuarón, Solo con tu pareja, sorry, Solo con tu pareja. I think they named the film Love in the Times of Hysteria. I think it's part of the Criterion collection, in fact, and it's a really good film, and a film in Spanish with a great actor called Daniel Jimenez Cacho that is still around, and he has done work with Alfonso, with Almodóvar, and a lot of stuff in theater too. But he was an actor that was a clear reference for me as a teenager, And it was when I was a teenager that I really thought I could do this. I started working when I was really young. I started doing theater when I was 6 years old. And then I did a few things in film in between 11 and 13, but it was later, I think, that I decided that cinema could be something that I would find useful to grow as an artist, as an actor.
Well, when you mentioned the Alfonso's film, what was it, and what were maybe there were some certain beats in it or themes that really made it feel accessible to you and a potential career path?
It was the humor. The humor was very smart. It was a challenging film for audiences. It wasn't condescendent to the audience. There was also a very beautiful approach, but very realistic, and again the tone of the acting was very grounded, and that to me was important.
It's interesting. I kind of thought you would you might have grasped onto some of those great Hollywood films, but I find it endearing that you zeroed in on something that was accessible to you, and that you said, look, someone like me is starring in this movie, someone like me is directing this movie, I can do this. That's really, really refreshing. It kind of goes to show how important this move towards diversity is.
It's crucial, I think. Otherwise we grow, reflecting of our lives of something that's not worth shooting, that's not worth telling on the big screen. It wasn't until I went to the Sundance Film Festival that I was like, oh shit, Hollywood is also this. We've been saying Hollywood as with a lot of prejudice, for such a long time, and then I'm in a festival where most of the filmmakers had to live the same struggle we were living in Mexico to do our films, and films had that kind of like sensibility, and they kind of like the creativity was so important for them to be relevant and important. It was all there, all had to be there in the creativity, because clearly production values were very limited. It's quite interesting, because I did grow up watching Star Wars. For me, Star Wars was really important as a kid. It was a great opportunity to also belong to a community. All my older cousins were watching Star Wars, and I just wanted to be part of that. But at the end, what got me to be part of Star Wars was a Mexican film called Y Tu Mamá También, because it was by doing something so specific and so close to me and to the world I experienced as a teenager, that I one day got myself into a movie like Star Wars.
All right. So now, when you were making your way up as an actor, what movie or series or performance did you watch that was so good that you made you go, Man, can I ever rise to that level? Can I play in the sandbox?
Scenes of a Marriage, the film. It's I remember we worked with that material in in school, and I remember working with those scenes and really analyzing the film and going deep, and to me that was a referent of great acting. What else was important for me? I think it was for me it was very important the work of Javier Bardem. Javier, I had the opportunity to work with him just a little bit in Before Night Falls, and it was one of the first times I had to work in a different language, and I remember I was just like, witnessing his process, like going like, wow, how deep does he go? How interesting it is with the way he transforms, because I come from theater, so the approach was very different. The realistic impersonation that Javier was doing, how he would transform, he was incredible to see, and he was a reference for me back then.
What first gave you the confidence that in fact you did belong doing this?
I never needed it, I already had a place in theater. I was already doing the stuff many people would dream of doing. I was working in the National Theater Company of Mexico since I was 18 years old, and I was like, I was working with the best of the best. I was being inspired, challenged. I had a career. So for me, cinema was something I would do, and I would stop anything to go and do a film, But if films were not happening, I was really happy where I was, I was really excited and and challenged as an actor. So I think it was that. That also gave me patience, patience to wait for the right opportunity. And one day it came, and it came in the way I kind of like set myself for, in a Mexican film, shot in Mexico with a Mexican team, taking care of the specificity of the story and the characters and the context that happened to be universal, and that got me to travel around the world and visit to Mama también.
Well, now so with that one, what got you that role?
I did the whole process, I did a casting session. They didn't I did a terrible casting session, in fact, and no one called me back. And then they called me back months later. Gladly, they hadn't found someone, and I think and then we did a session. By that point, like, he had chosen Gael already. Gael did the Amores Perros before, and we went into a room and did a callback in such a professional and responsible and mature and just the right way of doing things. We got in a room, the writer, the director, the DOP, Gael, myself, and we did a few scenes from the film, and it was just right there when he said, like, do you want to do the film? And I think something also very strong happened. I know Gael for my whole life. We're friends, we're family, and I guess there was something we brought to the scenes, that we lent to the characters naturally by being who we were, and by knowing each other and having that kind of like dynamic already, that was very valuable to Alfonso. There was something there already happening, and it could just get better and better. And I remember that session as like the way I try to now emulate every session I do, I learned a lot from that day. I go like, this is a very respectful way to give actors an opportunity. We shot a scene, and we shot a wide shot. They shot Gael, they shot me, and they put it together. It was kind of like an attempt of what a day of filming would be, and with that patience, with a director telling you something between takes, it's a great opportunity, not just for directors to see if you react to what they say, if you understand, if they can, drive you there, if they can take you there, but it's also a great opportunity for actors to find out if they understand, if they connect with this director, if they connect with this vision.
You originated Cassian Andor in the film. What burned in you to bring that character back for the series? And I'm imagining a lot of it probably has to do with what seems like a pretty great collaboration with Tony Gilroy. And obviously you've got a big fan base from this. Give me a sense of, what burned in you to want to do the series.
I think, first of all, the love for the character, but for the experience, the opportunity that Rogue One meant for me. The opportunity to be part of a project this huge, and at the same time be capable of bringing so much of what I come from, the way I like working, the films I like to do, the approach I want to give, the opportunity to play such a realistic character, someone so grounded and so normal, in this galaxy far, far away. Also for me, Rogue One is a film about an event, but you don't get to explore much about these characters. What gets someone to sacrifice everything for a cause? I thought that was a very interesting story to tell, basically what happens with oppression, what is it that triggers a revolution? What is it that triggers the awakening of people? And that was the task we had with this story, and the opportunity to keep bringing something new and different to the universe of Star Wars. Rogue One, in a way, was meant to be different. It was a film. Well, I mean, the ending of Rogue One is so different than anything else. It can't be compared to anything. It's like basically shit. Here in this film, people die. They actually die. They don't come back. They don't they die. All right. Well, in the universe of the Star Wars series, we were asked to be different. We were challenged with that task, and that's very exciting. That's very exciting as a creator, because why would you like to come to something so big, so robust, so important for so many people if you're not going to bring anything new? And with Tony Gilroy's vision, it was clear that we were going to do something different, something that would almost make you forget you're witnessing a story that happens in this galaxy far, far away. And I really was excited about also the opportunity of not just go deep on the character and now actually have the opportunity to tell people who he is, but do it in this long format that allows you to bring so much, and to explore so many layers. It sounded like a perfect challenge.